Hey there, John with Crowsense Craft, and today we are going to be turning this Mufasa toy from McDonald's into a Sphinx miniature for Dungeons & Dragons and other TTRPGs. So let's get started. Alright, starting off, we're going to prep the McDonald's toy by taking off the bottom plate. And then after that, I'm going to get the wings ready that I took off of a Pegasus from the dollar store. I don't have one of those special triangular screwdrivers, so I just used a flathead and was very careful about taking the bottom off. Now I'm just cutting a new bottom plate out of foam board. So now there's a lip on the side of the toy here, and I'm going to try and get it off with this box cutter. I promise I'm being careful. It looks like I'm not, but my thumb was underneath the device, so I promise I probably should be wearing gloves, but, you know, next time. So for the sake of time, and the real possibility of cutting my finger open, I decided to use a Dremel to finish it up and just really smooth out the edge all over, and of course it worked much better. Now, again, this is going to look dangerous, but I am just melting the edge with a lighter, going over it real quick. I promise I'm not burning my hand or anything here. Now I'm just going to prep the wings and make sure that they are the right length and that the connection will fit nicely on the side. Starting off by saying I should be wearing gloves, but I'm using a heat gun to melt the wings into the shape that I want. Just going to bend them a little bit to make them arc and make them look a little bit more lively than just the straight wings. Gonna glue everything down with hot glue. I'm also using the hot glue to fill in the backs of the legs. For some reason there's some like holes back there, so I'm getting rid of those. Now that it's all initially glued down, I'm going to coat all the joints in a little bit of gel super glue to give it a little bit more strength. After that, I hit it with a black paint and Mod Podge mix, and now I'm going to bring it over to the garage and hit it with some spray paint. So I'm not really using anything too special here, I'm just using some Rust-Oleum, or maybe this is Krylon, it doesn't really matter, just some basic gray primer. Now that the primer's dry, I'm going to start hitting it with paint, and I'm going to start with a base coat of Scale Color Pink Flesh, and that's going to be all of the bottom fur of the lion part. So I really want the wings and the mane to pop and look a little more magical, so I'm going to do a light blue on the wings and just give it a really nice base coat. Now I'm going to use a dark teal on the wings, and I think it's really going to pop against all the other colors on this model. Now I'm just mixing some cheap gray and red craft paint together to make a decent paint for the base. Alright, base coat's all done. Now I'm going to start hitting it with a wash. So I'm going to make a wash out of a blue wash from Vallejo and some green ink, and just kind of put it all over the wings and the mane. Next, for the fur, I'm actually going to be using a ink, and I'm just going to water it down a little bit and put it right on there. Now, just hitting it with a black wash that's homemade, just some black paint, dish soap, and water, and I'll slap that onto the base. Now I'm just going a shade lighter on all of the colors to go through and highlight everything. I also threw a coat of dragonfly glaze on the wings and the mane to give it a nice sparkle. Also going back here and there with the shade and the washes just to make it a little darker in areas. So for a final touch, I'm going to hit it with some flocking. So I'm going to put down some craft glue on the edges here and there, and then cover the floor of the base. And then once that's at a good point, I'm going to dip it right into a bag of flocking that you can get at any craft store. I get mine at Michael's. It's in the train building section. And voila! I love just about any monster that's based in mythology, so Sphinxes are right up my alley. I'd also like to say that you can change this build up too, because there's plenty of monsters based off of lions. Like, you can make a manticore with something like this, and it would work just as well. Just change the wings to like dragon-like wings and give it a different tail, you know? Hey, so we finished up the Sphinx build. I absolutely love the way this came out. I like any sort of monster that's a little bit more than just a punching bag for the party, and this came out pretty good if I do say so myself. And I also just wanted to say thank you for watching, thanks for checking out the channel. I really want to use this channel as a way to show everyone that there is a way to get into the hobby without breaking the bank. I really like this method of making models and kit bashing. It's a lot cheaper and it's a lot more fun. It takes a bit more creativity and it's a lot cheaper. And I just want to show people that there are other options than spending a bunch of money on miniatures. So if you build something that's kind of based off of one of my builds, I'd love to see it. If you want to tag me on Instagram or TikTok or here on YouTube, definitely do. I'd love to see your work. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.